Time. Time is all we have. My name is Cantey. I'm an executive coach and a podcast host of Business Vitality. And I want to talk with you about what I'm learning, which is the value of time, your time, my time, everybody's time is really, really important right now. We have been working with a number of clients, and what we're seeing is the importance of time and how we're using that time in order to get what we need done. And when it all boils down to this is, what's the one thing that we all have the same amount of? It's not money, it's not energy, it's not any of this other stuff. It's time. And how we choose to use our time is how we are going to differentiate ourselves, our careers, our lives compared to those around us. And we get to make decisions on how we're going to spend that time. And after having a couple of coaching calls and just conversations with folks in my world, you just begin to see different choices. And they're usually small choices that we're all making every day, small choices that are creating big impacts. And overnight successes don't happen. Small choices lead us to create an impact, which creates success. And there's opportunities out there. And I feel like so many of us are just so wound up in just rinse and repeating the same stuff we've always done because we've always done it that way, that we're really missing the opportunity. And for those of you just joining, my name is Cantey. I'm an executive coach, a podcast host, and I just wanted to talk about two or three things today. I've got two things that I want to share. One event that we're going to be doing next week. The first thing is, what is the best use of your time? That's what we need to talk about is what is the best use of your time right now? And what is shocking, I just read this over the weekend. The research is showing that we are now spending 2 full days every week answering emails or sitting in meetings. How are we going to get anything done if we're answering emails and sitting in meetings? I had one mentor tell me my email box is a list of to-do items from other people. I thought about that and I said, you're exactly right. That is just a list of things that other people want me to do. But how am I going to choose what it is that I need to do in order to create that impact or to drive the business forward? So the fact that we are now spending 2 days every week answering emails and sitting in meetings, it really makes you wonder, when is the work getting done? So how we use our time is really important. And part of that is just looking at your calendar right now. Look at the calendar and see what is taking the most time. Some of you may have multiple calendars. You may have paper, you may have electronic, you may not even have a calendar. I don't know. But for those of us that are getting a lot of work done, they have one calendar. It's usually electronic, it's usually on their phone. They're not double, triple booked. They just have meetings scheduled throughout the day. They also have buffers built into their calendar. And when you have buffers built into the calendar, the chaos of life can come in and you're not going to be disrupted. You're not going to be turned upside down if you build some buffers in there during the day. And I cannot believe how many conversations I'm having with leaders that say they come in Monday and they're going to start emailing and texting people to set up meetings for the week. That is a huge red flag. You do not need to be spending your Monday sending emails, sending text messages of when are you going to be available to meet this week. That stuff should be planned the week before. Also, if you're on vacation the week before, you should have had it planned the week before you went on vacation. So when you come back on Monday after vacation, it is nothing but hitting the ground running. Meetings with buffers because you know there's going to be chaos the first day back after vacation, or there's going to usually be a little bit of chaos on Mondays. I always found that my chaos days were Friday afternoons because everything slowed down and then the stuff bubbles up on a Friday afternoon. But everybody has their own particular day of when the crazy stuff is going to happen. We usually know when it is. I've had some people tell me Fridays, some people tell me Mondays, but really look at your calendar and see what is going to be taking up most of your time. And look at it in a reflective standpoint. Look back at it and see what is taking up so much of your time. And is that stuff still needed? Is there an opportunity that somebody else could be handling those meetings? Can you have particular, sections on your calendar that you were using for one thing? Can it now be pivoted into something else because your role's expanded and there may be a better use of your time somewhere else and you can find a more junior employee to be able to take on what you used to think was really important? It gives them an opportunity to be empowered and lifted up. And I had to also ask a coaching client recently. They wanted to attend a conference, and I was like, "Well, that sounds good." They're like, "Well, how do I broach this?" I said, "Well, tell me a little bit about it." And they said, "Well, there's a backstory." I'm like, "All right, well, tell me the backstory about the conference." And so they told me the backstory of the conference, and basically, it was a conference that took place. Um, Gosh, it was before COVID. Then a voucher came out because COVID came, and now they want to go and attend it. I said, "My gosh, how many years has it been? 2, 3 years?" They said, "Yeah, 2 or 3 years ago." I said, "Are you the same person that you were 2 or 3 years ago?" People were like, "No." I said, "Do you want to go to the same stuff that you were doing 2 and 3 years ago?" "No." I said, "Do you want to be seen as the person who's still going to the same conferences because you're still that person from 2 or 3 years ago?" He said, "No." It's like, "Well, it sounds like a great opportunity for maybe somebody else to go." They said, "Yeah." I said, "So if you were to delegate this out, who would be the next up and coming person that could probably take this on?" And they identified a few people. I said, "Wouldn't it be great if you could empower this person to go to the conference, learn what you need to have learned, expand their network, and figure out who are the best 2 or 3 people that you needed to get to know at this conference? And then maybe set up some Zoom calls and just get to meet these people after the conference, after this person who's been groomed to go in there and get to meet all these people? Like, what if that person is able to just line it up and be empowered to be able to do that and have a better use of their time as well because they're growing as a leader? It would then free up basically a week of your life, a week of time to be able to shift and be able to focus on what's going to drive the business forward now versus what it was 3 years ago. So we had these conversations, and it was just enlightening to begin to look at time in a new way. For those of you that are dialing in or tuning in, my name is Catherine Cantey. I'm an executive coach and a podcast host of Business Vitality. We have a masterclass coming up on Monday next week, 1:30 Eastern. It's going to be on this LinkedIn Live page. We're going to be talking about, actually not three, but four things: visioning, getting what you need from others, mindset, and action planning. And basically, what I'm going to be doing is teaching for 90 minutes of everything that I've been using with my clients on how they've been able to create their success. So we're going to talk with this big picture and kind of get a vision, a goal, and then we're going to talk about how do we get what it is that we need, but we're going to have to do it with other people. We're going to have to collaborate with other people, and then we're going to create a little conversation around mindset, because the mindset that we used to have, do we still need to have it? And do we still need to keep having that mindset going forward? Or do we need to grow our mindset? And then finally, I want to talk about action planning. For those of you who know me, you know I'm biased towards action. And I like for us to have a plan as we pivot out of that 90 minutes so you have something that you can actually go and execute. This is going to be a free class, and I would love for you to sign up ahead of time. If possible, just go out to my LinkedIn page. You will see the event that's going to be showing up on Monday, May the 22nd, 1:30 Eastern. It's called the Business Vitality Masterclass, and I look forward to being able to share some of those ideas with you. All right, so today we're talking about time. I've given you a few stories, very short synopsis of some coaching conversations and just research that I've been reading lately about time. And something else I want to mention about time is the fact that the economy is adjusting. And we all see it, and we hear it, we're seeing it in the news. I just listened to some economic updates and I was like, yeah, it's time to pivot from growth and opportunity into let's get back down to the basics. And that's okay. We can go through cycles and we can have exponential growth. And then we can also have that time to be able to kind of get back down to the core basics or the vital pieces that we need to have for business. And as we look at that, we think about this opportunity of all this growth and everything that a lot of people may have been experiencing. We had a lot of trouble trying to find people to fill positions. And now you see all these layoffs that are taking place. And there's a lot of money that was made The great thing about making a lot of money is it covers mistakes that we experience as we grow. And as we now are beginning to kind of right size or adjust or whatever the term may be during this kind of economic shift that we're heading into, as we begin to kind of slow down, it gives us an opportunity to reflect. And it also gives us an opportunity to really focus on what's going to matter and what's going to drive the business going forward. And we're going to have to think about working in a new way. We're going to have to think about how we use our time in a new way. The one thing that we all have the same amount of is time. And when we're going like gangbusters and the economy's doing fantastic, we make a bunch of money. We also can afford to make some mistakes because money's going to help cover those mistakes. But now, as we kind of resettle, now we're going to have to figure out how to think differently, be able to problem solve maybe in a little bit different light. We don't have as much of a buffer to kind of cover up for some of these growth opportunities that are out there. So we're going to have to think really smart. We're going to have to figure out how to figure this out. And to do that, it's going to take time. We're going to have to look at our time in a whole different way. And as you begin to look at time and how you're going to be moving this stuff forward, I want you to think about, how do you plan on using your time even next month or even closer to you next week? How do you intentionally plan to use that time? Because these end of the year goals, these big opportunities that are coming, that are here, it's going to take intentional planning, more intentional planning than you've ever seen before. Because before, we had some money that was coming in that was going to be able to cover some of these mistakes, learning opportunities. So now, as we're looking at where we're heading, we're going to have to be uber intentional with our time. So what are some things that you used to be doing that you don't necessarily need to do anymore? What is that 80-20? What is that one or two things every week you've got to do in order to drive that change, in order to continue to deliver the results? There's usually one or two things that we all have to do that allows us that consistency and that creates that momentum that allows us to continue to move forward. When you look at your time, we have to start looking at prioritization of our time as well. What are we doing? What are the goals? I met with one group. They had 12 goals. 12. Like 12 is going to be hard. How do you prioritize 12 goals? Because everybody has a job description and then there's 12 goals. You begin to get scrambled up like a dozen of eggs, wondering, which priority do I need to work on first if we've got 12 things that are of the utmost important thing to do? So sometimes we need to simplify and really just boil back like what it is that we need to do in order to continue to thrive during the shift of this economy. And if you've got 12 goals, is that easy for your team to remember what the focus is on? We may need to lift up one or two goals that we need to focus on. Time management may be a priority. Taking care of our team internally may be a priority. Taking care of our customers is always a priority. We can't take care of our customers without taking care of ourselves. We can't take care of ourselves without realizing how we're spending our time. So we've got to think about this, and how do we elevate that goal within the company so people have a very clear focus and they know how to prioritize decisions that are being made, that are being laid out in front of them right now. My name is Cantey. I'm an executive coach and a podcast host of Business Vitality. We are going to be hosting a free Business Vitality Masterclass on Monday, May 22nd at 1:30 Eastern. It's going to be from 1:30 until 3 o'clock, just for 90 minutes. We're going to talk about 4 topics that I have been able to use with my clients that have been able to create measured success for them and for their career. They've been able to gain recognition for the work that they're doing. We're going to start talking out high level at this masterclass about the visioning and what it is that you want to be able to accomplish. We're going to bring it in and we're going to talk about what it is that you're going to need to get from others in order to be able to deliver that goal. We're going to talk a little bit about mindset. You may begin to hear more and more about mindset and the importance of that. Carol Dweck has written an amazing book on mindset. I would highly recommend that. And even if you don't want to read the full book, go to Blinkist app and you can get the 15-minute recap of it. It is a fantastic book by Carol Dweck, and it's all about mindset and the importance that we have the right mindset going in to any activity. Because really, it's our mindset that allows us to win or lose or to learn. And then finally, after we talk about mindset, we're going to talk about action planning. If you know me, I'm biased towards action. So, what are some small steps that we can create to get a little bit of momentum so you can continue to get what it is that you would like? And so, we're going to talk about visioning, getting what you need from others, mindset, and action planning on Monday at 1:30 Eastern, May 22nd for 90 minutes. It's going to be interactive. It'll be live on LinkedIn Live. And I just want you to, jump out there and follow along with us with the content that comes there. And I'm hoping, my hope for you is for you to be able to start out with a big goal and figure out where you need to go and create momentum and help you create momentum for you and for your success. So, as we kind of wrap up here, I just wanted to share my thoughts of what I'm seeing, working with a number of clients, what I'm reading, what I'm observing through just online courses and such, is how are we using our time? It is the one thing that we all have the same amount of. It's just time. So, how do we decide if what we were doing is what we need to keep doing? Is there an opportunity to empower somebody else on our team in order to really take it and run with it? Also, do you need to keep attending the same stuff that you've always been going to? Do you still need 6 people in this meeting? Figure out what the core responsibility is. And do they all need to be present in order for us to continue to drive forward? Because we're going to get less and less time. The research is showing that we are already spending 2 days in meetings and emails. 2 days of our week are now going to emails and meetings. How do we look at our time in a whole new way? And how do we identify the 1 or 2 things that we need to be doing every week to continue to deliver the impact that we're challenged to do? So, in closing, my name is Catherine Cantey. I'm an executive coach and a podcast host of Business Vitality. And we are going to be having a Business Vitality Masterclass on Monday, May the 22nd at 1:30 Eastern. It's going to be for 90 minutes. We're talking about 4 things: visioning, getting what you need from others, mindset, and action planning. We're going to share what it is that our clients have been able to use and the processes they've been able to use in order to create change. And so I'm going to be doing that for that free masterclass on Monday, May 22nd at 1:30. If any of this is hitting home and you're wondering, yeah, I've got some time opportunities. I don't call them problems. I call them opportunities. I have an opportunity to improve our time, improve our team's time. Reach out to me, send me a message. I would love to hear. I would love to learn more about the work that you're doing. I would love to hear about the challenges and the opportunities that you have, because we may be able to co-create a solution. I work with teams and individuals, and we use practical applications to create measurable change, measurable leadership change within organizations. And we are able to do that using practical applications. And by using practical applications, people are able to adopt to it easier, quicker, and we're able to create sustainable results and accelerated results as an impact. So I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. If there is anything I can do to help you, please let me know. I look forward to seeing you on Monday, May 22nd at the Business Vitality Masterclass. Thanks, y'all.